So just for a quick warning, this is going to be a rant video. I don't usually rant, but I just want to talk about this. As you can see, we're on the Anime Destiny Discord. Now, I want to preface something real quick before we dive into this. Number one, I do not hate this game, and I'm excited to play this game. I saw the models, I saw a lot of videos on it, and I looked at it, I'm like, this game looks cool, I want to give this game a go. That's why I joined the Discord. I didn't come in here to hate or anything, so before anything happens, I'm letting you know that now. Anyway, this originally starts when I said, don't want to be rude, but isn't this the exact same model from UTD-X? Which, I'm going to copy this so I can come back to this. Now, the main reason I said that is because if I go into sneaks, I just posted this sneak right here, which has the Miku model. As you can see, like, this looks cool, but this has this stage. Now, this, I looked at this, I'm like, okay, this reminds me of, like, UTD-X, and I'm saying specifically that because I haven't played any other tower defenses, or I have played other tower defenses, but I've never really played anything that's, like, has Miku in it. Anyway, this Zora looks really cool. Some cool effects, bleed. I like that they're not making his giant effects go boom and hit the whole entire map. I'm a bit worried because that seems like a full AoE attack, and full AoE attacks I'm worried about because full AoE units should not be dealing a lot of damage because they're full AoE. Anyway, and then this person said that Stiku. Now I wasn't talking bad about them all. It looks like Miku, so I was like, hey, this kind of just looks like the exact same one for UTD, which I also meant the stage. I probably should have specified it. Then this person said almost every TD uses the same models. Nobody's being using different one. I disagree because you can definitely tell when a model is better or worse. The UTD models I can't remember because I haven't played UTD in so long. I also have the shiny Miku on UTDX, so I can't really see the normal Miku. But this is a true statement. What they're saying is this is a true statement. What they're trying to imply is Miku looks like this. Every game's gonna use that, which makes sense because you can't have a Zoro. Like, if you have like a pre-time skip Luffy, you're obviously gonna give him a straw hat. You can't just say, oh, that's a copy or whatever. Which, you can definitely take my message and read that, and you can be like, hey, that's what you're trying to say, but nobody's using different one. Which, okay, this makes sense. But I also said this. This is my main point. The stage looks the same. And he said, they all almost look alike. You can say the same thing for stages in UTDX. Here's the problem. Now, I think they were talking, or I think they were thinking I was talking about, like, the winter map that was shown. That's not what I was talking about. Not winter map, sorry, Marineford. It's Marineford. I'm not expecting Marineford to look too different. If it looks like Marineford, I'm personally happy. But they took my, yeah, I tried to reply to this, which, yes, you can take this as in stage, and be like, he's talking about the maps, but because that's what they call them now, stages and stages maps. But yeah, so I can see what I can see what they're trying to say. Like I said, I mean literally the stage, the thing she performs on, which is what I'm trying to say. Because, like, let me pop up a photo real quick but the stages do look somewhat different. Which was my whole point is she's done maybe hundreds of performances. I'll put up the exact number. It says, if anything comes from AC, I don't know actually what this is. I'm in a game called Anime Champions, or Anime Conquest. Oh, maybe Anime Champions. Is that what I'm thinking about? Anyway, if anything comes from AC, which is weird because it's like, I don't even know what AC could be, but if anything comes from AC, they made that first. Which doesn't really make too much sense, but they could have just like messed up with like their writing, so it made just a bit of not just a bit, but like a little bit less sense. But I think what they're trying to say is it probably came from AC and they made it first and whatever. So I was like, because I also mentioned UTD, so I think what they're trying to imply here is saying we didn't necessarily copy from UTDX, we copied from AC, or UTDX copied for them, and then they copied or whatever. But anyway, scrolling down, I'm trying to make sure I don't miss any of my messages. Having Miku in a stage. Okay, yeah, no, well, I think you have to have a Miku in a stage. That's like having Zoro without having any swords. She's a live performer who performs on a stage. Mainly because they use lights and stuff. I don't know exactly, but they use like holograms probably under the stage to convey her movements and all that stuff. So you kind of have to have her on a stage. I was just saying she's done hundreds of appearances, so making a different performance stage shouldn't be too hard. At least it's not as bad as ALS reusing the same models. Threw a little bit of shade at ALS, but I do actually really like ALS, and I'm excited for the Bleach update they're going to do in World 3. But I was just saying this, that if she's done so many performances, you can probably get another thing. Granted, I don't know anything about Miku. So you could sit down and you could say something along the lines of, well, all her stages kind of look the exact same, so you can't do that. And I would be like, okay, that makes sense. I'm sorry for saying anything. Also, this conversation started because I said Miku doesn't belong in a anime tower defense game. Just in case you're wondering on how the hell we got here. Like you said, or like I said, you can say the same with every other TD. Which, yes, this is true, but I specifically meant the stage itself. It's so hard to try and say stage because people think you're talking about the map. I'm not talking about the map. Anyway, boom, yeah, so, I mean, but I scrolled down a bit more and I said UTD copies AVUI, which this person, I didn't even bring up AV, I don't think. I don't even play AV. I've played both AV and UTDX, but I haven't played UTDX in 2 updates, and I haven't played AV since the Broly update, I think. I just haven't been into either of these games. I haven't been into tower defenses at all. So I reply with this pretty long message saying, "Do you understand my point? I'm saying we shouldn't copy the same stuff from other games when the character itself has many other looks." This was stupid on my end. Well, kinda. Now, yes, Miku's had other outfits, but you shouldn't change her main outfit as her base skin. Sure, you can do it with a shiny. My point right here was stupid, so if the person read this, or actually read it, they could have just picked apart my whole wording and sentences and just completely utterly destroyed me and made me be so embarrassed I wouldn't have typed anything ever again. But they didn't. They also could have made the shiny skin unique instead of using the same one for UTD. Though, to be honest, I'm very excited for Ymir, which is true. I am excited for Ymir. We haven't seen Ymir in a lot of tower defense games, and I really like Summoners, and I like Attack on Titan, so this is pretty cool. But anyway, I do talk more about the shiny in just a second. Tell that to UTDX, AV, ALS. First of all, I have mentioned this. I've talked about this amongst my friends, saying ALS should not be using the exact same models. Anime Vanguards, I don't play Anime Vanguards, so I don't want to talk too much on Anime Vanguards because I haven't played recently, so I can't voice my opinions. UTD, I have played somewhat recently. I played on the like a Luffy update, the festival, which I didn't even really like. I wasn't even playing UTDX much. Like even before that, I quit. I want to say when the Dragon Ball Gohan update came out, was selling all that stuff. I quit around then. Anyway, scrolling down, every TD, which yes, you can agree. You can say they're using the same models, which I think that's what they were trying to say. And every game copies each other's son. Do not call me son. Why don't you understand? And it's like, yes, they copy, but it's like you shouldn't copy. Yes, you can use the same units. If a game it puts Cell in 2 updates ago, you're not banned from using Cell. You can do Cell, especially if you were working on the update around the same time, but there were delays that happened. You put in Cell. Nothing wrong with that. Cell looks like Cell. Nothing wrong with that. Because if both games look like Cell, that is perfectly fine, and that is amazing because I love when models look like their actual characters and don't look really horrible and ugly and look like some random other people, like what AV is doing with like the new JJK update. Anyway, I will admit, it is a pretty crazy thing to say. Then I was like, I gotta double down. You have to be a literal child. I'm talking to JFK's sister. Um, This, I will say, is probably the most fucked up thing I said. If you don't know, JFK's sister got lobotomized, so I was implying that they got the IQ of a lobotomized rat, basically. And this person said, just calm down. You must be a little child, which is the most interesting one to actually reply to. Anyway, battle units are, but I don't even know what you're trying to say in this thing. The banner units that are 0.0, which I will admit, I think this is literally true. I think Goku Black has these odds. In UTDX, I think that, which, by the way, I don't like AV, and I don't like UTDX. I don't like banner stuff. Yes, you can do banner stuff, but like a banner unit, and then a banner unit, and then a banner unit. I don't like banner units. I don't like banner units. I liked ASTD, where you had to Evo the unit, or I don't even think ASTD had banners. They had little events where everyone had to come together in teams and be like, "Yo, we gotta kill these we gotta kill these like bloods. We gotta kill these reds. We gotta kill green team. Gut them. Ban all the green team people." There would be literally people making alt accounts, trolling the enemy team. I enjoy that. That was fun to me. Banner slop? No. The stuff that ASTD used to do, which I will glaze ASTD gladly. Old ASTD is the best tower defense. You cannot say anything about it. It didn't start any cancer. People couldn't even try and make stuff to counteract it, except for anime. Oh, what is it called? Anime Adventures. Anime Adventures was pretty good, which I do say I think a bit later, saying these games had cool stuff. I will admit, but ASTD is the grandfather of anime TDs. Like, it is the greatest one. Um, anyways, it tells me to cut it out, so I'm like, yeah, okay. Anyway, the pity, I don't, like, I'm not talking about Banner. I don't know why we're talking about Banner stuff. I'm literally talking about Miku and their stage having the exact same thing. This is like a straw man argument. You're arguing with yourself about something that I'm not talking about. Anyway, the trait rules, yeah, I will agree. I don't like trait rules. I don't even know if I said it. I don't think I said it here. I said it multiple times. I like I like ALS using orbs. I think orbs should be in a way like traits. You can get them from maybe doing raids or specific things. That way every single update you can just move your orb to a specific unit. That way you don't need to spin rerolls and save up rerolls and grind 30 hours. That's the thing I loved so much about All-Star Tower Defense. You could play All-Star Tower Defense. You'd be like, I'm out of gems. Let me put on fucking Kira. One button, 10,000 gems. You didn't need to worry about being like, all right, I need to grind, I need to AFK this game, because I don't think anybody really AFK'd. Um, I don't think anybody AFK'd All-Star Tower Defense. I played All-Star Tower Defense on Xbox and I had so much fun. You can't AFK on a console, and I yet had the most fun ever on that game. They didn't need 2 times speed. It wasn't all this slop that happened, which is why people love the old ASD. I see my point. AV is buns. I don't. Well, now it's buns. Before it was eh. I don't even remember. Wait. Oh yeah, and then I said actually feeble-minded. Um. Anyway, but it's coming, right? Yes, I do agree. The game they're gonna copy from each other, whatever. You can copy game aspects, but if you're gonna copy, work on it and make those game aspects better. That is how you do a good job at copying. You're you're not necessarily copying. You're enhancing what is already being done. So your point is useless. Models 2. I could make a joke here and talk about their grammatical stuff, but I'm not, because who the fuck cares? We're on Discord and I'm in a server of children. But anyway, so your point is useless. You've been having a conversation basically with yourself talking about anime vanguards. Do you hate anime vanguards? Like, dude, if you want to say you hate anime vanguards, but you're afraid to say it, just say it. I'm not gonna care. I'm not a glazer. I think this guy maybe thought I was the biggest dick rider of all the anime games and came in here to hate. I didn't come in to hate. I do actually like this game. So I was like, I'm gonna be honest. I wanted to be nice. I didn't want to. I was like, sir, I promise you, it's the truth. Constructive criticism, to use their brain, which was true. They were literally ranting about something we weren't even talking about. Anyway, some modes UTD have from other games. Like, why are we talking about modes? I don't care. It's a tower defense game where you have people going like this. You're gonna have to have the same fucking game modes. You can maybe have a unique game mode where it does something different, but 9 times out of 10, you're gonna have people going like this. At least with Anime Vanguards, I've seen some YouTubers play the most recent update. You can play as like Doom Guy and you gotta go in and blast things. That is somewhat unique. Okay, I'm trying to think of any other games that maybe did this, but not. I can't think of any. I agree, but that's also because UTDX is also not anywhere near like the first one. Like when there's 1,000 ideas done, you're gonna have to eventually copy people. That's just how the word. That's just how the world is gonna work. You can't have original. You can't necessarily have original ideas for basic stuff. Also, crazy message to say: harassing mods won't get the game changed. AV would have banned you in a second. Yeah. Anyway, right here. I don't want the game changed at this point. I just want my point to be understood without them being a yes and Andy. Which doesn't really make sense because they were ranting about a whole other shit I was not talking about. Anyway, scroll down. And this guy says that achieves nothing. It achieves them maybe just slightly thinking a bit more and trying to understand my point. He says, I don't play the game anyway. I saw it got hell a few updates ago. It's sad. I'm looking for my next message. I think I sent a giant paragraph. Oh, I said, do you understand my point? My point was we shouldn't be fucking copying. No. And then here, I'm gonna be honest, I make a very bad point, which can easily be debunked. My point is that you shouldn't copy. Yes, you shouldn't copy. Just because, I'm fine. I don't know if it's here, but like I said, I was fine with them using the models or whatever. I think it might be a bit further down, but I'm going to try and find it after. Anyway, should every human be slaughtered because of Vlad the Impaler slaughtered? This is a bad point. This is a stupid point that I shouldn't have made. It makes no sense for me to make this point. I like this message. He said, I will say this as nicely as possible. Thank you. You want to say, oh, we copied a model. But you understand every TD game does the same. Yes. Yes. I'm saying they use the exact same stage. The skin, fine. Right? Which I think is just about to come up in a second. UTDX has game modes. UI and a lot of other things they stole from AV has done the same thing. Did they ever state they did it or change it? No. I also never said that. I never was talking about. I never talked about. I was just saying. My only point was, hey, Miku looks like kind of like UTDX, and she also has I think the same looking stage that she performs on. That was my whole thing. And then I come down eventually, and I just say, I think I type my long message here. I can't seem to find it. Oh, here it is. This giant ass paragraph. UTDX is ass. This is kind of a lie. I mean, it's not ass. It's just not. It's mid. It's mid, right? I use ass a lot when something's mid. I don't care for their game. Yes, I don't care for the game. I hope their game succeeds because obviously they need, they're doing it's their job to do this stuff. So I hope their game succeeds so they can actually afford to pay their family. That's fine. I'm not putting any disrespect on their game. There's a lot of opinions I have about their team, which I will not say here for reasons, because I didn't want to go into this giant rant, because I don't want to talk about their fucking team in another Discord. And also, they kind of don't deserve it. No TD actually has been good since ASTDX. You can maybe, and I mean a big maybe, make some valid points for some ATDs. What I mean by this is certain features, certain mechanics, not as in the whole game. Which I agree with this, but you can also debunk this and be like, well, new ASTD is a bit ass, and then middle ASTD is a bit ass. Early ASTD is peak. That was when they actually understood that flying units that didn't need to be overpowered. Hill units. Yeah, the ground units should be the strongest. Hybrid units should be slight, like maybe middle, maybe slightly weaker than some air units if they're full AoE, because they're hybrid. They should never be as strong as ground. There should never always be 1,000 things. Realistically, in most games, you're going to be dying to air units in like infinite modes compared to ground units. And unless the only time that doesn't happen is because the air units have less health and every fucking unit in the game is a hybrid unit. Anyway, continuing on. DD's been good since ASD. You can make some valid points, but majority of them suck horseradish. I don't know where this came from, to be honest, but yeah. Well, yes. If UTD did copy, which I'm saying if because I'm not sure, shame on them. You can use a model without it being a copy because that's what they look like. My point wasn't that Miku's skin is... My point wasn't about Miku's skin, it was the stage. I hope this clears up everything. I'm fine with you using Miku's model. The shiny... Okay, I'll let it slide because it's related and the opposite, as Miku's blue. Toko, whatever Tiku... Hatsune Tiku, whatever. She's red. They're both Vocaloids. That makes sense. I'll let that slide because they're related. But the motherfucking stage, That was my fucking point. The stage is the exact same as Anime. Oh, Anime Crusaders. Oh, that's right. Miku is in Anime Crusaders. Why the why the fuck? So you admit that you are somewhat copying. Interesting. Sure. So is UTD. Grrr. So UTDX is fine. I am excited to see this game drop in its 7 days of release. So yeah, hopefully this game does good. I really want this game to do good, but who knows? And I just thought I'd make this video just to talk about this situation because I thought it was kind of funny. But yeah, like I said, no hate. Go ahead and join the Discord. Show them some love, and hey, enjoy the game when it drops. And I'll see you probably in the next 6 months.